another podcast with me, Phil Coley, and today I wanted to talk about probably one of my favourite subjects and probably where my key background comes from, and that is outbound. And in terms of outbound, it means lots of things to different people, but for me, outbound was always about outbound calling. So it's actually cold calling out to new people who've never heard of you to make a connection. And some real key things you need to think about is, in today's age, everybody's gone digital mad, digital marketing this, digital marketing that, and I don't disagree with that. We ourselves as a business use digital marketing, but we still use traditional methods as well in terms of that outbound outreach to get hold of somebody. And you can do it in lots of different ways. And sales is very different for very different people, and it's very different for different industries. But the key thing you can do from an outbound perspective is you can actually reach out to the decision maker to actually not always sell straight away, but start to sound them out. Are they the right person? If they are the right person, do they have a need for what you particularly have? And also as well, and this to me is a real key thing, you can do so much background research and information before you make hold of that person. And you can now start to use LinkedIn as part of your outbound process as well. So you can reach out to somebody using an outbound method using LinkedIn messaging. And this is a thing I talk about a lot with one-to-one clients. We use some great strategies on LinkedIn messaging because it's not about the content, it's not about your posts, it's about your messaging because you're reaching out to somebody. So when you look at outbound, here are some of the things that you really should be doing. You should be outbound calling. You should be reaching out to people you want to sell to. It doesn't matter if they say no, because if they say no, find out why, but at least you're speaking to them. Secondly, you can start to test your product as well and start to find out how will it be reacted in the industries you're selling into. How will people react to what you're trying to do? And when we look at that and we try and say, right, what are we going to do? How are we going to make it right? Think about a really simple script. Lots of people don't like scripts, but I like to talk about a script being a skeleton. Just some of the key things that you are going to talk about on that call. So you need to make sure you have a clear opening. You need to make sure that you can ask probing questions. So open-ended questions invariably. You can then think about how are you going to position your product. And I talk a lot about benefit statements. So if you're unsure how to position your product, try and look up some of the work I do on benefit statements. Then you can close the sale. Start to close the sale. It's a very old used phrase, ABC, always be closing, but it's true. You can always look to close the sale if you've got the right buying signals. If you're trying to close and you get objections, then handle the objections and then look to close again. So really simple 6 steps to get the sale from an outbound perspective. So you need to have your opening absolutely right. So think about how you're going to open the call. You'll never open it with, I'm Phil, and just start to go into this huge thing which is called a product dump, where you tell the person on the phone everything. You don't even come up for air. You don't take a breath, and the person's like, I have no idea what's gone on there. So you need to think about some real clear openings. And probing questions, I love probing questions. The who, the whats, the whys, the whens, the hows. You can start to use those probing questions. Position your product to what the particular prospect has said. Start to position how your product can make a difference to them. Then close. And close is really simple. Just ask for it. Ask for the sale. So you've given them everything they need to know, and you go, can I put you down for one of those? Or I'm going to put you down for one of those. I'm going to put you down for 4 of those. How does that sound to you? That phrase for you, how does that sound to you, is a phrase I have used 30 plus years in sales. If you ask how does that sound to you, they're going to go good, indifferent, or no, or not. Just, they can't say yes or no, but it's just indifferent. So when you think about that, then actually it takes you straight to the objections. What's the real reason they don't want to buy from you? You can then answer those objections, and then you can close again, and you can even say, how does that sound to you again? You can really use that. And that's why I think Outbound is so exciting. The other thing you need to do is to make sure you've got some really good, solid lists. Doesn't matter if your list is 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000. Get some really solid lists together of people you've either been following and you now want to move to the next stage and start to come into there. However you found that data, start to think about what am I going to do, particularly from a B2B setting. Obviously B2C is a lot more difficult and you need to be aware of more regulations on the B2C. B2B though, you can start to reach out to people on LinkedIn, and you can use that as the initial outbound call as well. So you can use that and you can outbound messaging to somebody. It's very difficult to sell through messaging, but it's really easy to start creating really solid relationships. So again, think about that and how that might well be able to help you as well. So you need some really good lists, really good reasons, compelling reasons. But Outbound is so great for any business to be able to use. And I really strongly advise you to actually go and try Outbound. Even if you're going to be using Outbound for following up, just start to get on that phone, speaking to people and ringing people. I don't know what you found, but I've certainly found in the last few months that email is becoming more and more difficult. Email spam filters everywhere. Sometimes people don't get your emails. People get so many emails now, they get saturated. And it takes me back to the days of direct mail where people just had so much coming through their letterbox. They were like, I don't want any more. And that's now the same with email. And many of you will have entered into my world and you would have come into my website, and you don't have to sign up for anything because I want to give you the content. I want to give you as many reasons as possible to reach out and work with me. But I'm not going to put you into funnels. I'm not going to send you countless emails as many others do. I'm just not. You know I'm there. If you want to be updated of stuff I'm doing, then of course you can sign up. But in the early stages, you're not. And that's the same with Outbound. Start to think when you're calling people, when will you call them again, and make sure you do it. And many of you will follow me on a Friday with Follow Up Friday. Use the phone to do the follow-ups. That's a real outbound calling method you can use that has huge success. Speak to the person, get hold of them on the phone. The phone can be normal phone numbers, it can be mobile phone numbers, it can be a WhatsApp number, but you can get hold of people really quickly and just say, I'm just following up, are we ready to go? And they'll say yes or they'll say no. If they say no, what are some of the barriers? How can I help you with those? Are the things that I can help you to understand more? What more can I help you with? You can start those kind of conversations. Think about Outbound. Definitely start to use the phone. Think about Outbound in both the phone and also direct messaging and LinkedIn. But have a strategy. Think about it. Start to use it. Really hope you've enjoyed this podcast, a little bit more relaxed today. Decided to enjoy this lovely weather and just come and share a little bit more with you and have this great podcast for you to listen. So remember to join me again next Wednesday, where I will be discussing another great topic which will help you on your journey with sales.